Hey guys, looks like we're live. It's not Thursday, but it's Tuesday, and I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna have a couple of drams. I figured I've heard good things about these next two I'm gonna take a look at recently, and really eager to take a try at the Loch Lomond 12-year, 46%, not chill filtered, but most likely has coloring added, and Loch Lomond has its own company, and we'll get to that. And another one that's used in blends, but it's a 14-year Clynelish, and done by Diageo, and really well done, I've heard. And it is not chill filtered, but it most likely does have coloring, from what I've seen and done research on. So, couple with coloring, but they've got the age statement, they've got the nice ABV. I think the 14 Clynelish, let me take a look here on my notes, I believe is 46 as well. 12-year and a 14-year, and how can we go wrong, right? Thanks so much for stopping by, and this is kind of a last minute thing, so I'm not sure. I think we got 4 people watching already, so that's cool. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll start off. I've heard that the Clynelish, it's not a heavily peated dram by any means, but I've heard it's smoky, does have some slight peat. I'm not sure what the phenol level is. If we're talking like Bunnahabhain 12 is only like a 2 to 3 parts per million, it's probably something really similar to that, I'm guessing. So we're going to do that second. We'll start with the Loch Lomond and go with that. These are samples that a couple buddies have been willing to share with me, and I really appreciate it. First one, the Loch Lomond, looks like that one came from Paul, a good buddy of mine, and also the Clynelish 14 came from Scott. We'll call him Scott E. And generous Paul, I like to call him. They know who they are, and I really appreciate them. They do come. Scott, I'm not sure if he's ever taken a look, but I know Paul likes to frequent the channel from time to time and make his presence known. Hey, Bobby, glad that you got to stop by. He says, "Oh, dude, I've been missing Clynelish so much. Finally placed an order for the new bottling this morning." Oh, congratulations! I've heard, never tried either one of these. These are brand new to my palate, and I've heard that. Let's get them poured so they have a little time to air out here a bit. I've heard these are well done. They usually, every review I've seen is always above average, between 3.5 to 4 on a rating out of 5 typically. So that's a good sign. We'll go ahead and pour the Clynelish, let that sucker air out a little bit too, and give it its proper due. I usually go neat on everything. I don't like to add anything to it at first. Always go natural. And yeah, you can. I'm gonna definitely keep these separate so I know which one's which. The coloring on these two guys is dark, but coloring is suspect. But the good news is it's not chill filtered, so that is a plus. If you want some white balance, let me get a piece of paper here, and this is the level. It's not at least they didn't go overboard with it. I mean, for 12 and 14 year, it's not a completely unbelievable, put it that way. The Loch Lomond, we'll start with that, the 12-year, and they're their own company, their own distillery. The only thing I know about them, I did a little research, but I didn't have a lot of time. But I know they have an Inchmirren, which is their peated whiskey, kind of a equivalent to Tobermory has Ledaig, Ledaig. This pronounced Ledaig. That's their peated version of their whiskey. So Loch Lomond has an Inchmirren. Haven't had that one either, but that is on my to-do list. Let's take a little sniff. That is nice. Definitely fruits right off the bat. The first note that I got out of everything was watermelon, of all things. I'm not quite sure why. I haven't had any recently. Maybe I'm yearning for spring. There is something I want to say that it's not off-putting. It's not bad. I'm getting kind of a almost like a I don't want to say soap, but like a real deep, heavy floral background too. That's working with the fruit together. It's nice legs already on the glass, but that doesn't necessarily always mean a good thing. Sometimes when you've got a dram that holds its viscosity, for a while, that actually might be a heavier mouth coat. This is probably going to be medium from what I'm seeing. It's not like it's definitely holding some form. Definitely get vanilla and let's see some graham crackers in there. I wouldn't go as far as cinnamon. It's not spicy, but definitely some dark bready notes. It's pleasant. It's not a. I'm trying to think of. There's also some. I'm not getting any herbal notes. Like floral is the main thing with the fruit. But I could tell it's going to be sweet. Maybe I'm smelling some sugars in there. Hmm. Let's have a taste. While I'm getting a sip, let's look and see if there's any extra information about the. It's ex-bourbon casks that are refilled and recharge. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what they mean by the recharge. If anybody knows, let me know in the notes or the comments. The It's refill ex-bourbon cask, though. I do know what that means. Um, hmm. But it's a total of 12 years maturation altogether. Um, they do both grain and single malts in the same facility at Loch Lomond, and it's a marriage of the three different cask treatments: the ex-bourbon, a refill, and recharge. Interesting. Hmm. It's a medium mouth coat, I'd say. It's funny, I didn't get spices off the nose, but on the palate, I am getting some spice. Hmm, maybe even some, not sulfuric, but maybe some tannins in there somewhat, somehow. Not sure if that's possible, but it might be the woody notes off the. I'm not sure if they're using oak here, but I suspect it's definitely wood overtones there. The sweetness comes through after first, 2 or 3 sips. You definitely get more of a toffee. Bourbon is showing itself a lot here, and I think it's because of the three different cast treatments that they're talking about. Hmm. Not overly sweet. It's actually got a good balance to it. I think that's one thing I do like about it, and I think that's why it's highly rated. Even though there's sweetness, there is woody overtones. There are floral properties you get. It is well balanced. No sherry, no other casks like special treatments like that, but not a bad for a 12 year. Is it in my wheelhouse one of my favorites? Not particularly, but I'm more of an Isla guy. I like a lot of Campbelltowns and Islas. Um, this is reminiscent maybe of a Not as sweet as a Space Side, but maybe a good Highland. Let me see. These guys, I'm not sure if off the top of my head if Lowland is a Highland or yeah, it's a Highland. So that makes sense. It definitely sits well in that. If you're a Highland fan, I would definitely give it a try. I don't see how you would be disappointed unless you're looking for a note that's outside of the sphere that I'm talking about. Hmm. The finish, the finish is nice. It's a bit dry for my taste. I like a little more of a lingering, you know, mouth coat on it. But I mean, this is very dry. Let's give it a just to see if we get anything else before we completely go to the next guy. Let's give a little bit of water, just a smidgen. I didn't really have much left, so we're gonna put just a little bit more of the sample in there to even it out. Because you never know, even though it's 46%, I know it's not on the high side, not like a 52 or above, but you'd be surprised at what you can get sometimes. This, I don't want to say it's hot. The alcohol is not hiding though in this. I'd say it's kind of a really nice, lets you know that it's not I guess because none of the notes are overpowering the other one, the alcohol is able to still sit there and right in the middle and let you know that it's still there without being, hidden by cloyingly sweetness or some major herbal thing going on. So it's kind of a nice hotness, I'd say. It didn't really do much with the nose. If at all, it might have made that soapy, florally note even more prominent. I want to say it's definitely a particular flower. I'm trying to put a name to it. I don't think it's jasmine or lavender. I'm thinking like a lilac, like a blue lilac is what I'm envisioning. I'm not sure if I'm off, but it definitely, I think, even brought that even more so with the water. So that's not really my cup of tea. But if you're a big floral note fan, definitely keep that in mind. Mm. Thanks for stopping by, Santa Cruz. Just taking a look at the Loch Lomond 12 and the Clynelish 14 here in a little bit. Added some water to this Loch Lomond 12. Nose was more floral. Taste didn't have much of an effect on it. Maybe tapered the alcohol hotness a little bit, down, which is not a bad thing if you're not a fan of having that bite when you're doing your taste. To me, I don't mind it sometimes, but it's still pleasant. The water didn't kill it by any means. I think being 46%, I think helps that a lot. So on a scale, man, if I'm going to give this a number, it's well balanced. The only thing I can knock it for is maybe the extra coloring. Um, the 46% is nice. The 12 years is nice. The no chill filtering is nice. I'm still probably only going to give it a 3.25 to 3.5, and I'm debating on whether I want to give it a 3.5 or not. Oh my. We'll come back to that. It's sitting between those two numbers. But let's take a look at the Clynelish. Let's have a little water first. Barry Parnell says, not sure if it's the same with whiskey casks, but in the sherry world, recharging a cask involves simple terms, more or less of washing it with fresh sherry after it has been cleaned or recharred. Okay, I gotcha. So maybe since this is a bourbon deal, it's the same type of process minus the sherry, but with the bourbon is my guess. I'm learning as I go with you guys on some of this. I have been doing this for a while. This is going to be my 140th ish dram of different types, but I am still learning like If it's anything, any process, you can't know everything about anything, even if it's something you love. Sometimes it takes a lifetime to learn every little aspect of it. So I appreciate any knowledge I can get from you guys on that does make sense. It definitely has a really cask oak barrel forward taste to it. If that's your deal, then definitely look for the Loch Lomond 12 if you're a bourbon fan, minus the corn. Of course, thankfully Scotch doesn't have that. I'm not a big corn fan, but the maltiness is there with the bourbon oak wood notes. So it's a good glass. I think I'm going to go with my 3.25 gut though, but let's see how it compares shootout sort of wise with the Clynelish 14. This is a Diageo, and they use it, I believe, in their Johnny Walker blends. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that is the case. This is also a Highland. It is slightly, and I emphasis slightly peated. Because I know some of you out there, if I say Bunnahabhain's peated, you'll be like, no, but it actually is, even though it's 2 to 3 parts per million. We're talking a very minuscule amount, but it does, have an effect. This is where Brewer used to be, from what I'm gathering. Brewer is a well-loved old school distillery that closed, and they're reopening it, from what I heard, along with Port Ellen, and there's some other older distilleries that are making a comeback. I think Rosebank's even making a comeback. So keep your eyes out on those. It'll probably be a long time before we see. We're talking, I don't even think they're going to even bother with 10 years. They might even wait till 12 to 18, something older, but hopefully they don't wait too long and let us get for the product. I haven't had a brewer before. The old school stuff I heard is really good. Likewise, a Port Ellen. So they're expensive though. We're talking $1,000 or more for a bottle. But if it's in your price range, I've heard it's definitely worth it. So hopefully someday I'll be able to afford to partake the old stuff. But until then, I'll be waiting for the new. So please hurry up, Diageo and whoever else is opening these older distilleries. I'm really eager to give it a try. On the Clynelish, it's 46%, 14 years. It's 100% malted barley from a single distillery, dried with peat, and it's an oak type of cask. So not too far away from the Loch Lomond, it sounds like, minus the triple type of casks in the maturation process. This, I think, is a little more straightforward as far as 14 years in the oak cask, but I've heard great things about this. A little more subtle on the and I think it might be from that cask process with the floral properties. There might be some in there on the bottom, but this definitely is more sweet forward. Definitely a little more, even more. It's a little better because it's a little more refined. Is the word I'm looking for. It's amazing what 2 years can do to whiskey. I mean, it's crazy. That's nice. You can get some hay in there. The flowers are a little. The smell is a little more sweet combined with the fruit. I think it works well together. Hmm. Ooh, that is wow. Same ABV, 46%, but wow, that's got a powerful palate, man. That's it's not an alcohol burny palate. It's just like the flavor's just like pow, peach, right? Like you get like a smack of the peach right in the face, but it's nice. Wow. That one had so many floral notes to it that the fruit wasn't able to come out. I mean, it was light fruit, like your white grapes, your pears, your you know, honeydew, light melon type of thing. This is got similar flavor fruits, but the flavor is just like tangerines, nectarines, peaches, apricots. It's got a lot. Oh my. Hmm. I'm not sure on the price point difference between the Loch Lomond 12 and the Clynelish 14. That's one thing I should have looked at. 'Cause I could have done more of a comparison, but I don't think they're going to be far apart. I would be surprised if they were that different on the price. The flavor, man, is unbelievable in this. Now it's funny because people talk about the waxy texture and the mouth coat of a Clynelish. I don't. I mean, I know it might be there because I have heard that numerous times. To me, it does hold a better. The legs are more profound. It's I'm not sure if I would give it a heavy mouth coat. It's definitely a medium. I'm not sure if it's much different than this guy though. I mean, maybe yeah. Looking at them dance in the glass in the violet, I guess I can see a bit of a difference. The I don't know if I would go as far as heavy, but it's definitely above a medium. But if there's a word between medium to heavy, that's what a Clynelish 14 definitely is, which I appreciate. I don't like light, thin whiskey. I like a nice, heavy oil mouth coat to it. So this is right up my alley. There is some smokiness on the finish and some oranges. Wow. Some vanilla. That's a lovely taste. I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised because I thought this was going to be really mild. I know that's using a lot of great blends. Clynelish is used in Compass Box a lot too. I had one recently that I adored called the No Name. A Compass Box No Name. If you find it, you should buy it. I know it's pricey. It's like 150, but you got to get it. It's got a it's got a heavy percent of Ardbeg. I think it's 60 to 50, maybe upwards of 60 to 70, somewhere around there. It's got like 10% Clynelish, and it's got like zero point 0.5 of Daluane and the Tanish or Tanish. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's got a couple just 0.5% of those. There's one other one I'm missing, Kalila. It's got like 10% Kalila in it. It's such a beautiful blend of whiskeys, and this is definitely I think the one that gives it its bite, its character, its heaviness. It's kind of like the bass guitar of the blend, if that makes any sense. I mean, the Ardbeg is the vocalist. It's bam in your face. The Kalila is kind of like the drums. It's also a foundation, but the real foundation that gives it the bottom end is going to be the Clynelish here. I know it sounds crazy, but I think of things in terms of music. Sometimes it helps me describe stuff. Hmm. And the Daluin and the Tanish is more of a keyboard, so it gives its subtle ambient tone. You know, we gotta have a little more of this because I didn't give. I liked it so much I didn't even get a chance to put some water on it. That tells you how good it is. Wow, I am liking the Clynelish. I'm gonna say, wow, it's got a little alcohol. It's funny for 46. It's hidden better with the Loch Lomond. It's more subtle, but it's definitely a forward of the Clynelish. But I don't mind it. Definitely have to be prepared for it. Maybe a little sip of water between. Speaking of, let's give it just a couple drops, and I'm talking like little bitty bit, just like that. Just to give it a chance to open those molecules, get them flowing, and see what we get here in a second. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bobby's he's saying, now you know why I've been missing having a bottle I've had on my shelf. Yeah, I can definitely understand. This is a surprising Highland. When someone tells me, Telex says the word Highland, and I'm thinking Scotch, I'm thinking like low key, real mild flavor. Not not like a space side because I love the sweetness. It's definitely not like an Isla with the peat or a Campbelltown with the funk or the mix of floral properties. It's kind of like a uh, just almost like a lowland. It's but this is not like that at all. Not like that at all. A pleasant surprise. Recently, go to one of my other videos. Recently, I did a review of a Royal Loch Lomond 12. Excuse me, and it was a pleasant surprise as well. It was up there, and I think it might also be a Highland. I think this might be a little better maybe than the Royal Latin but they're both by Diageo, and I can see now why they bought these because they do very well even on their own. But I can imagine since they are Highlands, they blend well with other things. I mean, I would love to play with if I had a big bottle of Clynelish 14 and a big bottle of the Royal Latin 12, playing around with like some sherry, like PX sherry or Oloroso, or maybe like a whiskey that's got a special cask like a Manzanilla or a Amontillado or something, and just kind of playing around with the flavor and see what you get out of that. That'd be so fun. Not sure what this runs, but hopefully it's not too expensive where you can, not feel bad for playing around with it a little bit and seeing. How much, Bobby, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you usually have to pay for a Clynelish 14? I'm just curious. I'm hoping that it's around 60. But for 14-year-old whiskey, that's hard to come by for only 60. It's probably upwards of 75 to 80, it being a 14, but hopefully I'm incorrect. Hmm. Still well balanced. The water didn't kill anything. I still get the floral notes in there with sweetness. The sweetness might have been, I don't know if it was tamed down at all, but not sure if it helped any. I mean, 46 is kind of like pretty sweet. 48 is my favorite. 46 is kind of a sweet spot where I figured the distiller has probably added enough water or done enough with it where he's happy with where it is. If it's above 50, of course, you've got more room to play around with. But still getting the same type of fruit and floral properties. See if hopefully it didn't kill the smoke. It's still there, but very, yeah, I think it kind of took away my smoke factor a bit, but still great taste. It might have knocked down the alcohol level a little bit enough to where it's not, the bite isn't as profound, but I didn't mind it being there. But if you're a if you're a drinker that doesn't want that bite at all, you want to just go as smooth as you can possibly get it. The water's not going to kill the flavor overall, so you can still add a little bit and be happy. So that's good. Hmm. Oh, and Bobby says in Texas is about 55 to 60. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And that's, I'd say that is a great bottle to play with. I'd say, I mean, once you get up to $100, you don't want to start messing around with it too much. But if it's 50 and you got another $50 bottle and they blend well together, I say go for it if you want to, have something even better than what you started out with, if it's possible. With this, I would definitely love to see what a PX cask finish uh, would, how that would go with this. But the water took away my smoky, orangey finish, but it gave me a profound vanilla, toffee, slight alcohol burn, more of a bourbon finish with the water. But I think I prefer it neat if I'm gonna go for this Clynelish 14. And I think I will be getting a bottle for myself because Bobby's correct. This should be on every shelf. I think, especially even if you're a Highland, if you're an Isla guy or even a Speyside guy, you're going to run into people that love Highlands, and this I'd say is on the top. It's got to be a top three, I would say, of any Highland whiskey I've ever had. I wish I had an easy memory bank to go through to see which were my favorite Highlands, but I know this has got to be at least top three, if not maybe even the best. I'm not sure if Glenmorangie, I can't remember if it's a Highland or not. I think it might be. They got pretty good stuff. The original, it's not my cup of tea, but anything that you put the original with, like the Quinta Raban, I've had that. The Lasante is one of my favorites. Those are pretty good. But off the top of my head, I can't think of any other Highland whiskeys that I really prefer. Hey, Mark, it's good to see you. What's some of your favorites? I think you guys did a review on the Clynelish 14. I can't remember how long ago it's been, though it might have been one of your earlier ones. I'm not sure if you can remember. Go back in your memory banks and tell me what if you thought it was really good. I'd be surprised if you guys didn't like it, though. At least give it. Hopefully, out of the four of you guys, I'm thinking like a 2.5 would be your lowest number on this guy. I'd be surprised. Even Andrew, I would think, would appreciate it and give it a 2.5, if not a 3, because I know you guys go to a 4 on your all scale. For me, this is going to be on a scale 1 to 5, 2.5 increments. This is a solid 3.75. I'm maybe even thinking 4, because on the finish is long, and I'm getting apricots and oranges, and I'm still tasting it, even with the water, which is. Hell, you know what? We're going to pour the rest of this. Good to see you, Mark. I'm glad you could stop by. I was worried. I was like, Tuesday night. Thankfully, it's early enough where people are, hopefully not too busy. And it's nice to be able to get an earlier start when I go on. Usually it's 11 o'clock on Thursday night after the Scotch 4 Dummies do a show. And 11 Eastern. So I get the scraps, but maybe every once in a while I'll do a Tuesday deal and go prime time. You crack me up too, Mark. You guys are hilarious. And if you haven't seen a Scotch for Dummies show, you definitely should check it out. They got me my start. They've always been nice guys. I didn't know Jack Diddley when I started watching them, and it's only been about a year ago. And learned a lot, and we're still learning together, and it's a fun journey. Mark's got me they gave it a 2.5. It looks like Sean and I gave it 3s, and Drew gave it a 2.5. Okay, that's fair. I mean, it's definitely not a Scotch Blue special, if you know what I mean. Oh, of course, Andrew gave it a 1.5. It's not in his wheelhouse. I thought he'd appreciate this. I must just enjoy sweet / fruit heavy drams more than Andrew, I'm thinking. Even though I love Pete, I love Octomore 7.1 as a favorite. All the stuff from Ardbeg, Lefroy, Lagavulin, all that. But I can still appreciate a damn good Speyside Aura, as this is a Highland, and if it's fruit, sweet, balanced, which this is, you can't go wrong, man. And I'll go neat with this guy every day. Bobby says he's more of an Island Talisker. Yeah, but this is his favorite Highland. The Lasante is a close second. We must have the same exact palate, Bobby, because I'm the same exact way. Lasante is like that's my one of my favorite bottles. I tell you what, Bobby, I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. I got lucky looking at it recently. I recently did a review of the Glenmorangie. It's called the To Sail. It's from 2015. It's a private bottling. They've done about, I want to say, trying to remember, 2009 was the first. So they've done at least, I'm not good with math right now. So just count back to 2009. The Salanta PX was their first private bottling. The 2015 is the one I'm talking about. If you could find that To Sail, I think you would enjoy it. It's like banana Foster, cinnamon Danish in a glass, perfect. I don't change anything with it. I don't put water on it. Just I drank it straight and I finished the bottle pretty damn quick. It's really good. If you find it though, it might be around 120 to 130. It's a pricey bottle because it's an older private edition, but this Bios, which just came out, I'd love to try it. I think it's around 190 to 100, so that would definitely be one worth trying. And as is all of them, RTN, the Bacalta, Analta. There's so many different ones. That's what I love about whiskey. It's almost like I don't know. It's like shoes. If you're a big Nike tennis shoe fan, I mean, you can think of 100 different types to like choose from, and they never get old. It's weird. Whiskey throttle. Oh, you're a bad influence, my friend. Well, lucky for my sake, tonight we're doing samples, so drinking it from this bottle is not going to get you much. Oh man, that was a one-time thing too. I'm surprised you talked me into drinking straight from the. Which one was it? I think you got me drinking from the Bomar 15 Darkest bottle. I can't remember which one it was, but wow, man, that was a first. I've never have drinking straight from the bottle like that one before when it comes to scotch. It's so sacrilegious. It's just not funny. Mark says it's actually from a solid year since we reviewed this one. Oh well, happy 1 year anniversary, my friend. It's still damn good. I got this from a buddy named Paul, and I'm sorry, buddy named Scott for the Clynelish, and the Loch Lomond, which it's a good bottle. I'm not a fan as much as the Clynelish, but Loch Lomond 12 from Paul was pretty good too. I gave it a 3.25. I gave this a 3.75 all day, almost a 4. I mean, it's really damn good. You don't have to twist Telex's arm. Yeah. Are you aware of any independent bottlings of Clynelish? I am not off the top of my head, but I do have a little list here, thankfully, that I like to keep from my favorite local liquor store in Maryland. And unfortunately, they do not ship. I wish they did because they would make a killing. They always have really good offerings on their list, and they give me a printout every month of what they got and prices and whatnot. I'm sure Dennis hopefully does the same for you guys for at the Vine and Table there in Indianapolis. If he doesn't, you should ask him. He probably wouldn't mind doing it for you, I would think, as long as you don't share it with anybody. Let's take a look at Clynelish and see if we see anything. One of the first places I like to look, well, let's just go in order to make sure we don't miss anything for independent bottling. Brocolati, let's see, Compass Box, Chieftains. Chieftains looks like they don't have a Clynelish, unfortunately. Their exclusive malts does have a 21-year-old Clynelish for $249.99, my friends. That I bet is a killer. Because exclusive malts, they don't F around, if you know what I mean. that I bet would be a tasty bite. 21-year-old, I bet it's got to be cask strength for that kind of price. I'd be surprised if it's not. Let me see if there's any other Clynelishs on this list that are independent bottlings. Just real quickly, exclusive malt, man. They have a great offer down there. Let's see. First editions, I don't see one there. Gordon and MacPhail. It has an 11-year Clynelish for $84.99. That might be worth a try. That might be worth a try because Gordon and MacPhail, they do pretty well, I think, with their independent bottlings. I don't think I've had anything too far off. Let's see. Grangestone. No, that's something else. Let's see. That might be all of them. But I just want to make sure before I say that. MacPhail's, no. Aaron and Signatory. Let's see. Signatory, Clynelish, 1998 for $62.99. That's most likely not a cast strength, but it might be worth a try. Trying to think if I've had a Signatory. I've seen them a lot. I see a Kalila cast strength at a local store a lot for like $109, probably a little overpriced. This guy for $62.99 sounds pretty good. 1998. That's fairly old. Might be worth a try. Wow, there's 3 right there. I think that's all of them. That's not a bad. There's 3 on this list that I have that might be worth a check. See, and seeing if might be worth your time. I think it would. Missing my first page of this thing somewhere here. Let's see. Maybe not. We'll look later. Anyway, there you go. Let me go back to the comments here. There was a Gordon MacPhail's years ago, not aware of any recent ones. Well, I gave you 3 right there. Exclusive malts do put out good stuff, and I would be interested in that one, but $2.50 is salty. Yeah, I hear you, Mark. That is a bit high. That's a little too high almost. But if it's cast strength of 21 years, man, it might be worth, saving up for a few months kind of thing. I know for you guys it's hard because you got to churn through these reviews, but if you guys get pumped up on bottles and samples enough to buy you some time, save it for a few months, maybe get it that way. Gordon MacPhail has been in biz for years. Yeah, they have. But so has Barry's, and Barry's has not been very. We've done like 3 of their independent bottlings recently, and only 1 was pretty decent. I was not a fan of the Tormore. We had another one that was kind of Barry's has been around since 1895, 1890, somewhere around there, and I know they do a lot of wine, but maybe Scotch really isn't their thing. I don't know. I might give them a few more tries, but I would be hesitant on the Barry's. If you see Barry Brothers and Rudd, that's an iffy one. You don't last long if you're not good at what you're doing. That's true. That signatory is an NAS. I think it might be because I did not see on their list. They did not have a year statement. Don't quote me on that. For 62, you would think it would be, excuse me, one of a younger one. If I had to guess, probably at 8, because I know a lot of these guys love to do like 8-year, 8-year, 7-year bottlings just to see what their young juice is. But that's a guess. I'd have to look it up and see. We've had a few really good ones for signatory. Okay, well, I might have to give that Kalila. I've seen they have a Kalila's cast strength that's in there. Paul, hey, good to see you. I just did the Loch Lomond 12. Pretty decent. I was I don't want to tell you, but I did like the Clynelish 14 a little bit more, but it's still a good dram. I'm not usually big on Highlands, but both of these were pleasantly, pleasant surprises, I'd say. He says sipping on an Octomore 7.2. I bet that's pretty good. Do you let me know, Paul, if you get the 7.3? I'm not a fan of because of that Ribeira del Duero cask. That's a Spanish wine, I believe. I get mixed up with the Douro Valley from Portugal. The Ribeira del Duero, I think, is a Spanish wine. Not a fan of the taste of that one. Does that 7.2, which I don't believe it does that have that red wine weird cask taste to it? I'm gonna give you and But Lee, if he shares it with you, I'm gonna give him the bottle when we get to the expo, man, because that's just not my cup of tea. Uh, eh, I'm- I wish it was 7.1 because I love the 7.1. That's one of my favorite drams of all time. But Bobby says he asks if Andrew ever revisited that Clynelish bottle. I generally find myself agreeing with his palate, but we diverge pretty greatly on this bottle. Yeah, me too. I'd like, and I think Andrew might have scored it low because he might not have been as experienced as he is now. I bet you if he went back now and tried the Clynelish 14, I bet you he would bump that up to at least a 2, if not a 2.5. I'd be so surprised if he was still kind of like, because damn, it's so good. Mm. Let me go back to the comments here. Ooh, Paul speaking Telex language. Bobby says, I'm sorry, Mark says, Bobby, we haven't had it since. I would say that we've all changed in the year. Of late, he's been appreciating more of the non-islands. Yeah, I think it's where it goes once you have it for a bit. It To have the Isla experience for a while, you finally get well versed enough, I guess, to appreciate a lot of the other stuff, like even Akantoshan, which I didn't think I was gonna like at all, as being a lowland. Maybe the triple distill part helps, but I like the 3 wood a bit when I'm in the mood for a sweet dram, and I like the American oak. It reminded me of a Macallan 12, which I know is like probably blasphemy to say, but it was a sweet, nice dram. I mean, and being a lowlands, it's surprising, that I would like it. Paul says the 7.3 was okay. The 7.2 is a Shiraz matured. Ooh, I do like Shiraz, so I might have to try that. I might have to try that. You might have to bring that along to the expo, my friend. Nah, I know you already got plans of bringing something. I like to be surprised. It'll be fun to see what you guys have in store, man. It's gonna be Christmas in freaking April. Bobby says, as I recall, he looked like someone that just ran over his dog when he was drinking it. Ooh, wow. I, Unless I mean, the only reason I could think of why Andrew wouldn't like it even today is if he's not a fan of apricot flavor, nectarine, tangerine orange, that kind of real sassy, mid-level fruit. Um, I'm not a big fan of apricots, actually. I wouldn't want to just bite into one. I do like the flavor, though. Candy, like if it's a apricot candy, or the finish goes on forever on this Clynelish 14 for apricots. It's insane. I'm still getting it. It's maddening. Hmm. Mark says it's really a journey. You seem to move around the island from region to region, going through stages. Yeah, yeah. At first, I thought that I was only going to like Ireland. That was going to be my thing, and I was just going to stay there and never go anywhere else. And then I found Campbelltown, and having a Kilkerran just opened my mind to what was possible. Really, that Kilkerran 12 was like a mind opener, and the Glen Scotia 15 as well. Cannot say good enough things about Glen Scotia 15. If you haven't tried it, Mark, you need to get a bottle of that ASAP. Um, and the what's that third one I'm missing? Glen Scotia, Kilkerran. Oh yeah, Springbank. You know me. I'm a huge Springbank fan, so I don't need to go on about that. Um, it's going to be a blast. Paul says, I'll send you a sample of the 7.2 with around 6 if you've got something good to send me. I sure will find something, my friend. What I'll do is I'll give you an inventory list of what I got. And if you see something that strikes your fancy, then let me know, and I'll add it onto your deal on this round 6, which is going to be interesting. I'll show you guys the bottles since I'm having a heck of a good time here. Look at these puppies. Oh, yes. We're going to be looking at, for round 6, we are going through every distillery in Scotland. We are going to do MacPhail's collection of the Glenturret 11. This guy is 46%, and I'm not sure about the coloring. I do suspect some coloring there, as dark as you can see that being 11. But 46 chill filtering, we'll have to see. That's an iffy one. But MacPhail's usually doesn't, they're usually pretty good. This one is going to be, I think, one of the stars of the next round. This is a 1997. This is a Clynelish Cask Strength 19 by Alexander Murray. And I have had an Alexander Murray with the Glenkeith 21, and I was not disappointed. So if they're consistent, then this could be a really nice find at 53.3%. And being 19 years, that color, I do not suspect coloring, but that's just me. 1997, hopefully was a good year. And last but not least, we're going to be looking at the Strathmill Distillery Connoisseur's Choice, which is done by Gordon MacPhail's as well. 10-year-old, 46%. Yeah, it's slightly dark for a 10. I'm kind of suspicious, but you never know. And as far as being 46, the chill filtering we'll have to see. It's not stated. So usually if it's not stated, there's probably a little bit of play going on. But thankfully, 2 of these are Gordon MacPhail's, and one of these is a guy that I've had experience with. So we'll see how this goes on these later on the round 6. And for round 7, I'll show you a couple really nice ones here. Round 7 is going to be fine. I think I'm not sure if we're just doing 2, Paul. If how this round 7 is going to go. I do have the Inchgower Flora and Fauna. It's a 14-year. I'm really excited about this guy, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation on this because I haven't looked it up yet. Clynelish, probably Clynelish. I'm guessing on Clynelish, and this is going to be actually CH Clynelish, probably Clynelish, something like that. 10 years, Flora and Fauna as well, 43%, and that's going to be fun. Both these are 43. One's a 14, one's a 10. I'm not quite sure why, but the Flora and Fauna series I've heard is pretty good. I know you guys did the Blair Athol recently on the Scotch for Dummies. If you get a chance, check out their review of the Blair Athol. That looked pretty good. I'll have to look that one up. I know you guys gave it a 3, I think, out of 4, solid across the board, except I think Drew threw a wrench in there, and I think you gave it a 3.5, or somebody did. So it was a solid 3, which makes me think it's going to be pretty good. We shall see. Even this Glen Scotia double cask at the price point is well worth it, Bobby says. A little different from what you expect from a Campbelltown, but a fine pour. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, too. It had kind of if I remember correctly, it had like a grape soda sweetness, but it was met with some really good balancing leather and things that you expect from a good Campbelltown distillery. It was, I love it when you get a really good sweetness met with like some bitter or some like leather or earthy tone that melds well with it. I think that's why I like the Lagavulin Distiller's Edition so well, because that sherry cast with the peat just works really well together. Ooh, Mark says you might be able to throw some of that at me. Okay, well we'll have to do a little email and let me know what you might be interested in there, Mark, and we can. I definitely would love to try some of that. I think, though, wait on that because I might already have. I can't remember. I think that bottle might already be coming. Actually, that I'm thinking about it, but I'm sure we could figure out something. There's always stuff that I'm sure both of us have. The other one's always wanting to give it a try. So I'm more than eager to trade inventories with you and see what we can come up with. Maybe I'll just bring it out next time in DC. We can have Jack Rose. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, you always come, but you never tell me you're coming, man. You'll have to stop by. I got a nice electronic dartboard back here. Get you practicing and just shoot the breeze and have some drams on a Saturday. If hopefully get your butt out here, man. It'd be fun. Oh my. So much whiskey to try. I've got so many heels back here. I've been waiting to. I had a couple buddies that said they might stop by, but everyone's either been sick or their kid might have something going on, and all that has been it's been quiet here. So hopefully you get a chance to stop by. That'd be nice. Well, thanks so much for stopping by, guys. I've probably been going on for quite a while. I think I started at 8. Wow. But it's been fun, and hopefully you got something out of it. Going back, Loch Lomond 12, good. 3.25 to 3.5. I'm kind of in between on that guy, and a great one, which there isn't anything left, is the Clynelish 14. I can't believe I drank all that already. That's sad. I'm gonna have to get me a bottle of that. That's a keeper. That's a 3.75 to 4. I think I might have to say 4 since I already drank it. Well, Slanchava, and hope to see you guys another time soon. And thanks for hanging with me. Oh, and subscribe if you can, if you haven't already.